Imagine if Facebook was a physical place, a kingdom, if you will, ruled by a single entity. In this realm, I wield the power to control what information is disseminated to its citizens and how they interact. It's a world where I can make a minor squabble go viral, while a calm, reasoned response might go unnoticed. In essence, Facebook becomes a kingdom where the citizens are not treated as empowered users, but as subjects of the king, Mark Zuckerberg, with limited control over their experiences. This is one of the core problems we must address. Spending too much time in this kingdom, especially for kids, can have negative consequences. Studies have shown that children who use social media for more than 3 hours a day are at a higher risk of developing depression and anxiety. Unfortunately, the king, or in this case, Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, has refused to address these major problems. But my mission was to shed light on these problems from the inside.
Disclaimer. This is an original AI summary of the Rich Roll podcast. All of the content here, including the voices, were AI generated from the original episode.
I used to work at Facebook, and I shed light on the issues within the company in my book, The Power of One. Facebook creates an echo chamber where people only hear opinions that align with their own. Instead of treating its users as citizens, Facebook treats them as subjects of the king, with limited control over their own experiences on the platform. My motivation for joining Facebook was to tackle the problem of misinformation. I witnessed a close friend fall into conspiratorial thinking after Bernie Sanders lost the primary election. I believed that by working from within, I could make a difference and influence the direction of the platform. However, my experience at Facebook turned out to be worse than I expected. I quickly realized that the problems within the company ran deep. I was thrown into a boot camp and given the task of coming up with a plan to tackle misinformation within a few days with little knowledge or support. One of the biggest challenges I faced was the international implications of Facebook. In developing countries where people were just getting online, there was a lack of internet literacy. People believed that the information on Facebook was more trustworthy because it came from their connections. They had not gone through the process of discerning fact from fiction that many citizens of developed countries had experienced. Let's now delve into the broader context of social media and technology. We must acknowledge the societal costs of reducing misinformation and the dire need for transparency in censorship systems. I discuss how Facebook's censorship policies affected the promotion of my book and the need for more transparency in data regarding safety interventions. I express interest in Musk's subscription model experiment and reflect on how a subscription-based internet model could have influenced the development of social media platforms. I highlight the challenges of transitioning from an advertising-based model to a subscription-based one, and mention the different revenue generated from users in different regions. I compare the subscription model with platforms like Netflix and discuss the value it provides to users. The conversation concludes by mentioning the pressure from investors for advertising-based models and the allure of future value for companies. I knew it was time to take action when Facebook announced the dissolution of civic integrity. I realized that Facebook needed help to change, and that I would have to figure out how to do something. As for Facebook's culpability in the events of January 6th, I explained that the social movements that led to the Capitol riots were fueled by a small number of people exploiting the weak points in Facebook's algorithms. I raised questions about Facebook's responsibility in allowing violent content to spread and influence people's decisions. But being a whistleblower is not an easy task. It's like going on a dangerous mission with only one chance to get it right. I have to be careful not to reveal my identity and gather all the evidence I need to expose the truth. I gathered thousands of pages of documents, taking pictures of them on a laptop and organizing them secretly. It required long hours and meticulous work, but I was determined to do it because I believe in standing up for what's right. Eventually, I decided to share the documents with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, a government entity that protects whistleblowers. I trusted a writer from the Wall Street Journal to help me navigate this process. But what happens next was beyond my expectations. The information I revealed gained widespread attention, and people were shocked by the impact of Instagram on teenage girls' mental health. It becomes a pivotal moment in the fight against social media's harmful effects. Throughout this journey, I realized the importance of having someone I trusted to share my burden. Being a whistleblower is not something I could do alone. I needed a support system, legal assistance, and a team of professionals to guide me through the process. The aftermath of my whistleblowing experience turned out better than I expected. I received support and recognition for my bravery. And although I didn't face death threats like many whistleblowers do, I understand the importance of having at least one person to confide in during such a difficult time. Facebook had a team that was meant to be the vanguard for change, but after the 2020 election, they dissolved it. I believe this was because the team accumulated liabilities for the company, and Facebook wasn't willing to address the problems that were being uncovered. I revealed that Mark Zuckerberg often refused to address major problems within the company, despite pleas from employees. I shared an example where Mark came up with a policy without consulting the relevant teams, which led to a wrong-headed decision. I also discussed Zuckerberg's control and authority within the company, as he holds the majority of voting shares and is both the CEO and chairman of the board. This lack of checks and balances within Facebook is a significant issue. In my journey, I've realized the magnitude of the impact and responsibility platforms like Facebook hold. But this is not a single person's battle. It's a collective effort. We must demand accountability, transparency, and ethical practices. In the ever-evolving landscape of social media, the power to transform lies in our collective hands. By acknowledging the intricate challenges and with the belief that we can make a difference, we can create a safer, healthier online environment for generations to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast of my conversation with Rich Roll. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. See you next time.